I'm sorry, but purple is for the very crown chakra, the very top. This is the purple. This blue, your mind. This is where you connect. Okay? But these are two different types of blue. We have a darker blue for your intellect and your mind and your tranquility. But we also have a royal blue for your throat, for you to speak. Then we have the heart chakra, the green. Then we have our yellow chakra, your orange, your greenish chakra, different color green. Okay, then we have your pelvic area, or your kundalini chakra, which is the orangish color. And then we have like the blood red from the blood red stone chakra for your grounding. Now there are times that you may have to use black stones to help in your process of grounding your energies when trying to meditate and deal with your chakras. I apologize, but what I was trying to get you to see is that there are 7 consistencies of man. Now, they're just not the fact that he created us from the trees and everything like that, and his intelligence from the swiftness of the clouds, and his hair from the grass and all of that. But then he goes on to say, I gave him 7 natures. 7 natures. Now, the first part is the flesh of man, the skin, our flesh. Now, that nature of that creation from the 7 consistencies, he says, the flesh, he gave to the flesh hearing, to the eyes sight. Now, for soul, that's where your smell comes in. Your veins are for touch. That's why you got nerve endings in your veins. Your blood is for taste. Your bones are for endurance. And your intellect is for sweetness. I conceived a cunning saying to say, I created man from invisible, from visible nature. Of both are his death and his life and image. He knows speech like some created things, small in greatness and again great in smallness. I have placed him on earth, a second angel, honorable, great and glorious. I have appointed him as ruler to rule on earth and to have my wisdom. And there was none like him of earth, of all my creatures. So you see, these 7 consciousness that you have, God created you, my beloved, to have dominion. Satan didn't like that, because the fallout he had with God was on the 2nd day. So let me show you that Lucifer is not a figment of imagination. Let me show you where Lucifer came from, baby. Okay, here we go. Chapter 29. And for all the heavenly troops, I imagined an essence of fire. And my eye looked at the very hard, firm rock, and from the gleam of my eye, the lightning received its wonderful nature, which is both fire and water and fire. And one does not put out the other, nor does one dry up the other. Therefore the lightning is brighter than the sun, softer than water, and firmer than hard rock. And from the rock I cut off a great fire, and from the fire I created the orders of incorporeal 10 troops of angels. From the rock God created the angels. And their weapons are fiery, and their raiment are burning flames, lightnings, rods. And I commanded that each one should stand in his order. So when God created them on the second day, he commanded the troops to stand in their order. And one from out of the order of angels, having turned away with an order that was under him. So he had one corporal who had a legion of angels, and that corporal was Lucifer. He rebelled on the second day. So when you hear people talking about they don't know when the angels and what the angels, no. See, that's why Enoch. You need to understand. Take my shoes off. Excuse me. Oh, they're bothering me right now. I can't take them no more. I need my freedom. I'm coming out my clothes. I'm coming out my shoes. I'm coming out my pants next. But, excuse me, y'all. Moving forward. I need you to understand that the trickster, Lucifer, was created on day number 2. Lucifer has always known the divine plan of God. Show you how he knew. Check this out. And I appointed him a name from the 4 component parts of east, from west, from south, and from north. Now, those 4 component parts of the world are the same 4 major component parts of your pentagram that they tell you is evil. That's where the 4 points come from. They represent the 4 points of the world and the 4 elements. And the 5th point is man. You. You are the 5th point on that 5-point star. Okay? And that's some realism here, because I'm teaching you spirituality, so you need to understand how this thing works. When God first created man, the man's name Adam was given to him because of the 4 points of the world: the east, the west, the north, the south. And I appointed for him 4 special stars, and I called his name Adam, and showed him the 2 ways, the light and the darkness, and I told him. See, God told Adam the 2 ways, the light and the darkness. And he appointed Adam 4 stars, which are the 4 stars: the north, the east, the west, the south. Those are the 4 brightest stars in the solar system, in the sky. And they were placed there when God created Adam as the very first compass for direction, because he gave Adam wisdom. That's how he could name the animals. Follow me. Understand. Okay, so last thing I said is I called his name Adam, and I showed him 2 ways. God showed Adam right after he created him. He showed him 2 ways: the light and the darkness. And I told him, God said, I told him, just like a parent, this is good and that bad. I should learn whether he loved towards me or hatred. Then it would be clear which is his race, love for me. So Adam was the first experiment in trying to figure out whether mankind was going to love him or hate him. Originally it was just Adam. See how perplexing that is? For God. For I have come to see his nature, but has not seen his own nature. Adam was doing shit wrong and didn't realize he was doing shit wrong. His nature. Therefore, though not seeing, he will sin worse. He was already doing sinful behaviors without awareness. And because he had no awareness, he would sin worse. And I said, after sin, what is there but death? So God's heart is now breaking, because this creation that when he originally created, it was sinless. And then it started doing shit and didn't even acknowledge or recognize the damn fact that it was doing shit wrong and getting worse at it. And he don't even have a woman yet. Okay? But God already saw he was going to do shit and not know it was him that was doing it. So, God being the loving God that he is, see what God did. Had to oil my head. I'm sorry, y'all. Please forgive me. I'm just with cold, natural, authentic self, okay? So y'all forgive me for that one. That was kind of rude. I'm sorry. But that itching was doing a bit much for me. I couldn't handle it no more. But moving forward. He says, for I have seen his nature, but he has not seen his own nature. Therefore, through not seeing, he will sin worse. And I said, after sin, what is there but death? And I put sleep into him, and he fell asleep, and I took him from him a rib. Now, this is what I need you to understand. A rib is not just one rib, like they want you to believe. No. He took half of Adam. This one side was considered a rib. Okay? So, when God did the first surgery, he took half of Adam, recreated Adam, and split the rib he had left in half to make two sides as a cage. That's why they spread like that. And then the other set, he put in the woman. But the difference was, in order for Adam to multiply, he had to put a reproductive system in her with the capabilities of carrying and having offspring. So when he created her, it was with that intent, for the pleasure of Adam. See, in the beginning, Adam and Eve was romping through the woods doing the wild thing, you know what I'm saying? Acting natural. Wasn't no babies. Just Adams and Eves. Hey, alright, get it in. But 'tis the arrogance of Eve. 'Tis the arrogance of Eve. If you're going to call a spade, call it a spade. And this is why I say it was the arrogance of Eve. Because to be tempted by, you want to be like God. See, Satan knew in her lied in arrogance. Because Adam knew the rules. I mean, like Adam knew the rules. But Eve was a little easier because he could come with her with half-truth and play on the pride aspect of her creation because of her mind having the swiftness of the clouds and the knowledge of the angels, but not being educated to who he was for real. So the great deceiver came in the form of a snake, and that's what the curse of thou shalt crawl on thy belly and eat dust for the rest of thy days. And the snake lost his legs and became the serpent. Yeah, that's where it came from. But it was that, I'm going to show you where Satan had preconceived the notion to utilize Eve. Anyway, he knew he couldn't use Adam. God knew that man was going to sin and get worse. He knew it when he created him. Because he said, what is there after sin but death? And he had not even created Eve. And once he saw that, he said, well, he didn't put your ass to sleep and give you a woman. So I know some sugar might go down. That's what it was in a nutshell. God saw it coming. He said, man, let's keep going. Finish getting this story. Okay. He said, and I put sleep into him, and he fell asleep, and I took from him a rib, and created him a wife, that death should come to him by his wife. And I took his last word and called her name Mother That is to say, evil. So that's where Mother Earth comes from. Evil. Because when God put Adam to sleep, that was the last thing he said. He said, I created him a wife, that death should come to him by his wife. This is prophetic. Prior to Eve giving and offering the fruit to Adam. This is the prophetic word of God showing you that when he created Eve, God created Eve, he created Eve for the purpose that death should come to Adam via his wife. That death should come to Adam via his wife, which was half of him. Deep. You know why God said that? I'll show you right here. Adam has life on earth, and I created a garden in Eden in the east, that he should observe the testament. So he had a testament and the commands. I made the heaven open to him. So it was an open access for Adam to be able to go back and forth between the earth and heaven. There was a portal between heaven and earth that God allowed Adam to access prior to Eve taking that fruit. There was an access portal. God wanted us to be able to access him. God wanted us to be able to have a relationship with him where we were readily able to get to him. But you know how that goes. Okay. So, but for today's lesson, the main thing I want you to understand. Take these last couple minutes. I gotta do this. And I made the heaven open to him that he should see the angels singing the song of victory and glorious light. And he was consciously in paradise. And the devil understood that I wanted to create another world because Adam was Lord on earth to rule and control it. The devil is evil. He's an evil spirit of the lower places. As a fugitive, he made Sultana from the heavens, as his name was Satanali. Thus he became different from the angels, but his nature did not change his intelligence as far as understanding of righteous and sinful things. So just because his appearance had changed, okay? His appearance changed, but he still had the knowledge of the divine plan. And this is what he has been plotting against ever since the beginning. This war, this spiritual war that we fight, is real. And you need to understand your adversary. You need to understand that 1/10 of the angels was his, but he had a larger dominion of angels than what he had in the beginning, because God locked up 9 legions. That's a lot of angels. In this book, the book of Enoch that I teach you, gives you that detail to help you understand why you believe the way you believe. It don't just shovel you some stuff and tell you this is what it is. It helps you understand who Lucifer is, what his plan is, how he wants to infiltrate. He is Sotanus. He is the negative, lower vibrational energies that keep you stuck on low cycles that do not want you to ascend. These are the things that we fight. We fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and high places. So, for this daily dose of your spiritual vitamin with Bonnie B, we're going to close it out with, don't forget your 7 chakras, your 7 consciousness of man. Those are your 7 chakras. That's what that means. That's where the chakras come from. The chakra bracelets. They deal with the 7 consciousness of man. So that when you meditate and you line them up and you get them in alignment with who God is. And that's how come you pray and ask God to anoint the crystals to help you to align that energy. Because the crystals by themselves is just rocks. God endows them with power when you ask Him to. But them of themselves, they just pretty rocks. That's all. It's God that gives them the power. So, on that note, my beloved, till it's time for your next daily dose of your spiritual vitamin with me, Bonnie B. You stay blessed, my beloved. Bye-bye.